This is the Oceanammo Manta, and this is a conventional spear gun, and it has various lengths for some reef fishing and also some pelagic fishing. So let's go, we're gonna go from butt to tip on this Oceanammo Manta spear gun. First, we're gonna go over the technical specifications of the spear gun and then also give you my first impressions of the spear gun. In this particular example, it's a 120, but let's get into it. The Oceanammo Manta comes in a variety of different lengths for the conventional muzzle setup, 90 to 140 centimeters, 7mm shafts to 8mm shafts depending on your length, Hermes double roller trigger mech, rubberized AR style grip, or you can upgrade to the ergonomic Oceanammo grip, enclosed track, 17mm hyper bands, a rear lanyard, an oil finished laminated teak, and a spooled Aussie reel. 5.6 pounds. That. All right, so the Oceanammo Manta. My first impressions, give you a little history of my experience with this brand. I'm sure some of you that have followed the channel, or those of you that do follow the channel, thank you for supporting, know that I've had some experience with some of Oceanammo's products. So specifically the Hybris, the Hydra, and I think that's it. But this is my first conventional, oh, and those are the, I think it was the Saber. There was one more that I did, but any case, this particular one, I haven't tested it out in the water just yet, but I can probably give you a good sense of what I expect to happen considering my history with the products. So this is a 120, as I mentioned in the tech review. But yeah, this is the 120. It does come in various lengths. It comes with roller, double roller options. But me personally, when it comes to the longer spear guns, I kind of like the conventional setups. Rollers are always my preference in general, but kind of the conventional setups are my thing. But anywho, so my first impressions, one, it's heavy. This is a 120. I mean, it's teak and it's long, as you can tell. And with that amount of wood, it's gonna be heavy. So in the water though, for those of you that haven't used a wooden spear gun, in the water, it's perfectly balanced if it's ballasted well. And from my experience with Oceanammo spear guns, it's ballasted pretty well. I've noticed that many of them, the tip, the muzzle portion of the spear gun does tend to rise a little bit, and that's my personal preference. So it aligns well. I've shot a couple Rife Marauders, Rife Euros, and some other wooden spear guns. And for the most part, I would say they're all balanced pretty well. So nevertheless, it's a heavy spear gun when you first get it. And but in the water, I'm sure it is relatively easy to manage. If you're familiar with Oceanammo's kind of profile or their design language in general for most of their spear guns, it's pretty thick here, wide. I mean, it's similar to like a Rife Marauder. I think the Marauder might be a little wider, but it kind of tapers off a little more. This stays relatively thick for most of the way there. I don't know the exact angles on what way it's cut, but that's just kind of my first impression. So I would say the thickness is probably about 2.5 inches, give or take, obviously depending on the length, where you're looking at on the spear gun. But yeah, I would say overall construction is really solid. You do have the option to customize your spear guns at Oceanammo when you order. When you send a file to Paul, you can let him know what you want to laser etch on the spear gun, which is a really nice touch. I don't know of any other brands that do that for free. I don't think I know of any, but they do that for you. You have that option. Or if you just want to choose the color of the track, you can do that as well. So I know if, for those of you that, you know, I know most people, you're not buying spear guns very often. So to have that extra touch is really nice to have. So with that being said, if you want to laser etch your spear gun with whatever design you'd like, make sure you send a PDF file. A PDF file is ideal for what Paul likes to use to do these laser etchings, and make sure it's not like a vector file or like a PNG, only PDFs. He likes that PDF seems to work well with their process. So make sure to do that. Not a vector, not an AI file, just PDF. So make sure that it is clear on what your design is supposed to be like, and if it is to the specification, then it'll come out that way. So just make sure it's whatever length you have, the file matches that length and design. So what I have is, this is just my little piece, but they're supposed to be, they look like flames, but they're kind of like clouds. It's kind of old school, like Korean art. And then that's like the old smoking tiger from kind of old folklore in Korean culture. And then the last bit, the little flower at the end, one of the flowers in Korean culture, but it's essentially, when you look at like the palace pillars, you'll notice this shaped flower on there. So yeah, just a little homage. I'm Korean, so that's what I wanted to do. So outside of that, the bands, 3 bands, 16 millimeters, plenty of power. But overall, I would say the construction is solid. There are some bits that I want to try out. This is the Oceanammo ergonomic handle. I have yet to use this one. I've used their AR style handles that they put on most of their spear guns, but this one feels really good. Has the Aussie reel. I got mine in seafoam because I thought it would be matching the other colorful components of this, like my colorful track. But yeah, overall, a very solid construction. Can't wait to use it. What I'm planning on using this spear gun for is white sea bass primarily, and pelagic. So I say that mainly white sea bass because majority of my diving, if you follow my channel, is shore diving. I would say 90% of the time I'm shore diving. And white sea bass and yellowtail, but most of the time white sea bass are kind of the target. I guess you can call them goldfish, or I don't want to call them trophy fish because we eat them. But the kind of the main target species that you want, that a lot of people aspire to get from shore. So this length I think is good. There's a handful of times that I've had like a 75 up to like a 90, and I just didn't have the reach to sneak up and grab a white sea bass. With that being said, I did land a white sea bass on a 85 Pathos Open Pro, which is way underpowered, but I just got lucky. Sea bass came pretty close. I stayed pretty quiet, and then I had a shot right on the head, and then the rest is history. But anyway, back to the Oceanammo Manta. Solid construction. I think for the price, it's incredible value. If you look at others that are in this camp, it's incredible value with the Hermes trigger. This is my favorite trigger mech, regardless if it's on this spear gun or something else. My best feeling spear, that kind of trigger mech, is the Hermes double roller trigger mech, in my experience. There's some other spear guns out there, like my Picasso Carbon Magnum something, that trigger is like really, really hot. So what I mean by that is when you pull the trigger, it doesn't take that many foot-pounds to release the shaft. It's way too hot. I like a little bit more pressure needed to release the shaft, and I find that the trigger mech on the Hermes double rollers work really well. So what I'm planning on doing personally is also adding buying a different shaft and grabbing a slip tip, because if you're going after like a white sea bass or a yellowtail, things like that, you want to make sure it doesn't rip off, so you want to use that slip tip. But overall, pretty happy with the construction. Paul from Oceanammo did the laser engraving, and this one is mine, and we'll be hunting fish with this very, very soon. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And this is the Oceanammo Manta. What do you think? I hope you enjoyed that overview of the Oceanammo Manta spear gun. This is, again, a conventional spear gun with various lengths and some customizability. So let me know what you thought about the spear gun itself, and also let me know in the comments which one I should review next. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.